as she's born into a culture built on absolute obedience to Vlaakith. And so every moment of her life reinforces the same message of her queen's infallibility, and to question her leadership would be heresy. And Laezel would never even imagine questioning Vlaakith, because it would mean imagining that her entire identity and purpose as a prideful warrior was built on lies. The game introduces the crack to this mentality through the Zaith'isk device, as Laezel watches what should be a sacred ritual of cleansing become an execution. Though, as we all sadly know, even objective evidence isn't enough to convince someone they've been deceived. As Laezel concludes that someone is betraying Vlaakith's will and has tampered with the device, because her first instinct is to defend the system that's harming her by finding a scapegoat to blame. That is indoctrination in its purest form, where the victim's loyalty is so total that conspiracy becomes more plausible than deception. And so when the truth finally breaks through and Laezel learns that the true heir to the Githyanki still lives, her arc shifts to defining the premise of loyalty itself. And so if she sides with Orpheus, it's not as simple as her changing allegiances based on birthright. She's experiencing an ideological rupture where she chooses to follow a style of leadership where loyalty is owed to the people, not a throne. But notice what she doesn't even consider choosing: independence, isolation, and freedom from all forms of structure. Because she still needs to follow someone. After all, it's the only way she knows how to live. But now she's not completely autonomous and has value as an individual. The brilliance of framing Shadowheart and Laezel as enemies is that they're both under complete and total control, when neither of them could ever imagine bending their morals for the sake of others, because they have no reference for what freedom feels like. And what makes their liberation genuinely subversive is that neither of them fully heals, as Shadowheart still carries the trauma of having her memories erased and will bear the mark on her hand for the rest of her life. And Laezel still harbors the xenophobia and cultural supremacy that was ingrained into her. They both recognized they were being controlled and were able to step away from it, but since they still harbor these psychological wounds, does that mean they're truly free? Absolutely, because actual freedom isn't the absence of damage, but the ability to choose how you carry it. But there's a more intimate form of abuse, one that doesn't need institutions or religions. It just needs to find the type of love you crave, be it physical or intellectual, and builds a prison from the very thing that liberates others.